The Magic Pear Tree. Long ago in China, a farmer brought his pears to the market in a hand-drawn cart. He was just setting up his stall when a Taoist priest, worn with care, came over to him. "Please," said the priest, "may I have a piece of fruit? Just one old, bruised pear will do. I do not ask for more." The farmer tried to get rid of him, but the priest would not leave. He held out his hand, begging for that one pear. "I sell my fruit, I do not give them away," said the farmer angrily. "I do not like beggars, whether they are priests or poor men. Away with you!" Soon, of course, this argument drew a crowd. The crowd drew the guards, and finally, to disperse the crowd, one of the guards purchased a small pear and threw it to the priest. The priest nodded and thanked the guard, then spoke to the crowd. "How hard it is to understand greed. Let me offer some pears to all of you. All I wanted was a seed for planting." He ate the pear but reserved the seed. Now the people crowded around to see what he would do next. Taking a little shovel that he had tied around his back, the priest dug a hole and planted the seed, covering it up with earth. "Can someone bring me hot water?" A cautious laugh ran around the crowd, but one small boy ran, got the water, and gave it to the priest, who immediately poured it on the planted seed. Suddenly, a green shoot shot up from the dark earth. It grew and grew and grew some more until it became an enormous pear tree, bursting with blooms. Even as the people watched, the blooms became pears, golden and heavy. The priest turned, plucked the pears, and distributed them to everyone in the crowd, saving 2 for the small boy who had run for the water. Then, taking his shovel, the priest chopped down the tree. When he was finished, he picked up the top half of the tree and walked down the road. The people watched until he was out of sight. Immediately, the crowd dispersed, and the farmer, who had been watching all of this magical show with them, turned back to his cart to find it was entirely empty, and the handle of his wagon had been chopped off as well. "Hey!" he cried, looking around. But priest, handle, guards, crowd, and pears were all gone, and he was left with nothing. This story of magic is from late 17th century China. The Taoist priest who conjures up the pear tree has probably, like the Taoist priests of his era, studied a combination of alchemy, astrology, botany, zoology, and of course, the martial arts. The priests often lived in the mountains of China. Followers of the Tao, they believed in deep contemplation and a non-aggressive approach to life. Though Taoism had been around for many centuries, it didn't become a recognized religion in China until the 2nd century CE. Today, most people in the West would recognize Taoist priests from such Hong Kong movies as Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. The Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu summed up its tenets thus: "Look, and it can't be seen. Listen, and it can't be heard. Reach, and it can't be grasped." Magic pear grumble. Cures the grumbling of even the hungriest belly. And the secret ingredient? Hot water to make it grow. Equipment: large bowl, measuring cup, measuring spoons, whisk, peeler, knife, small heat-proof bowl, tea kettle or pan to boil water, rubber spatula, 2-quart baking dish or casserole. Ingredients: 1 cup flour, 2/3 cup sugar, 1½ teaspoon baking powder, ½ teaspoon cinnamon, 1/8 teaspoon salt, 1/8 teaspoon ground cloves, ½ cup milk, 4 ripe pears peeled, cored, and cut into 1½ to 3/4 inch chunks, 3/4 cup packed light brown sugar, 1/4 cup butter cut into 5 pieces, 3/4 cup boiling water. Directions: preheat the oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. In the large bowl, using the whisk, mix together the flour, white sugar, baking powder, cinnamon, salt, and ground cloves until completely combined. Add milk and beat until smooth. This batter will be very thick and sticky. With the rubber spatula, fold in the pear chunks. Scoop the batter into the ungreased baking dish or casserole. Boil water and measure 3/4 cup. If you put the correct amount of water on to boil, it will be less when it is hot. Put the butter and brown sugar into the small heat-proof bowl and pour the hot water over it. Stir until melted and blended. Pour the hot water mixture over the batter in the baking dish casserole. Do not mix. Bake for 45 minutes. The finished dessert will be still a little syrupy with golden brown bready tufts. Serving suggestions. Serve with vanilla ice cream or whipped cream or both. Variations. Try making this dessert with apples. Peel and cut 2 large apples into small bits. Or with peaches. 5 medium peaches. To peel, put peaches in boiling water for 30 seconds, then rinse them in very cold water, or drop them in a bowl of ice water to stop the cooking. Then peel and cut. For a sweeter crumble, use 2 cups of canned fruit instead of fresh. Facts about pears. Pears have been part of the Asian diet for centuries. They traveled to Europe in the Middle Ages and to America in 1620. In the 18th century, pears were nicknamed butterfruit because of their soft texture. The pear is actually a member of the rose family. Of the more than 3,000 varieties of pears, the most popular is the Bartlett. Pears are a healthy snack and a good source of vitamin C and fiber. Pears ripen better off the tree than on. Some experts even recommend putting them in a brown paper bag and leaving them at room temperature to hasten ripening.